Salutations, friends. We are back at the desk because honestly, everything is pretty chaotic right now. I really don't feel like being on camera, so we're gonna do some artsy stuff. I've been feeling pretty artsy, and yeah, let's get into it. This is a new series that I'm gonna start and probably not commit myself to, called Fuck Around and Find Out, where I find a art medium or craft medium that I've never really messed around with before and just dive in head first and see what happens, see what I can make with it. Today we're doing charcoal. I've got my box of goodies here of random charcoal pencils and other things that I thought I might need. Probably don't need all of this, but this is just sort of my graphite bin. We have our charcoal sticks, right, in soft, medium, and hard. Charcoal pencils and, soft, medium, and hard. Some white charcoal. I have a rasp and some of these things that I knew what they were called at some point, and now I'm not quite sure. Might take out this extra black one. I also grabbed a kneaded eraser. These are my favorite kinds of erasers. And a couple of different options for paper, as well as a mechanical pencil for sketching and a 4H pencil. But I have some gray tone paper that recently came in just a cheap sketchbook pack that I got from Hobby Lobby, and this nice tan tone paper that I've had for quite a while that I've used for several other endeavors. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just start messing around with it and seeing what I can do. I played around with charcoal a little bit. Obviously, I have the supplies. I've wanted to get into it for a little while now, and then I've seen these sort of abstract tree charcoal drawings done by one of my favorite artists, Sam Hamper, on Instagram, and it looks so fun. And it's messy, and I don't like having stuff all over my hands like that, but I'm gonna try it, and we will see. And then also I just love how quickly forms can take place with it, so I think I'm gonna attempt some of that kind of things. So I thought today I would mess around with it and see what kind of textures and little swatch everything on the different paper. And then I actually went through and downloaded some screen caps and stuff from Pinterest of Geralt of Rivia, because I've been rewatching the Witcher series on Netflix and I'm about to start reading the books. Very excited about it. So I thought his sort of grimy, stark white and dark colors would work really well for this. And also, going back to my roots, portraiture is something that I know how to do. It's something that I'm fairly decent at, so I figure I'll do that to sort of introduce myself into it, see if I can transfer my graphite skills over to charcoal. I just threw these pictures through the Visco app, upped the contrast, brightened them up a little bit so that I can really get those shadows and different highlights and stuff. We will get to that in a bit. For now, let's swatch. So I have my sort of swatches set out. I definitely prefer the way that they look on the tan paper than the gray paper. I'll have to figure out another use for that sketchbook. So I think I'm going to go with this tan paper. And I definitely prefer the pencils over the sticks of charcoal. I think I just am not ready for that kind of lack of control, especially on this small of a scale. So I think I'm gonna stick with the pencils for now until maybe I can scale up. I also wanted to test out how well the eraser picks up. I don't know if it's gonna actually be that useful to me. Maybe for like highlighting a little bit, but I don't think it's gonna be all that useful. I think it's just gonna kind of pat it down. So I think we'll keep the eraser, but maybe just use it for little tiny lifting, like not extreme lifting like how I thought I would be using it. I'm gonna go ahead and do some sketches off camera, and then we will come back and really sort of focus on getting a handle on the charcoal. So this sketch actually went by really fast. It only took me about 20 minutes to do, and I was really happy with it for the most part until the end, and I think I kind of just lost it. I wasn't really used to working with the charcoal, obviously, and so I went about it in a way that I thought I was being smart about, and I think I overblended it. I didn't gather enough values, and I think it, like here, I really like it. I think it's coming along really nicely, and then we get a little bit further into it, and I think I just like, I lost Henry Cavill's face. Everything kind of became muddy, and I just, using the little stick blenders really helped for like the finer details, but I think I should have been using like my finger or a tissue to blend out the larger areas like the background. So I tried to fix it by going in with a darker pencil, but it didn't really work. It just, I think, made it a lot worse, and I'm really not happy with how the sketch came out. And I really don't like the white highlights, so I had to do something different. Okay, so it's a couple days later, and originally I was intending to just leave it at this and call it good. I was just going to talk over it and let that be the video, but I wasn't really happy with it, and so I wanted to practice a bit more. So I sat down the other night and I did this portrait. I also was playing around with a couple of sealing options just so that it didn't smudge too much. I started with this one because I wasn't happy with it, so I figured I'd experiment with it. I tried some matte Mod Podge, and that works really well. It seals it, but it kind of smudges it. It's hard to control. I think you can see it best up here, where it's very, like, it'll pick up any loose bit of anything and just smear it, and I really don't like that. Then I remembered that I had this workable fixative that I bought for my graphite drawings a few years ago, and so I tried that on the portrait that I did, and it works really well. And also you can work on top of it if need be, which would be nice to like go through and darken up the edges. If you smudge really hard, it will come off and transfer with that, but I'm not going to be like roughhousing with my drawings, you know? Because I gave it a couple of days, I had some stuff going on, and so I like took a break from it. Today I did this. I tried out the gray paper, sealed it with that same sealant. This one I'm pretty happy with. I'm a little bit more happy with the way that I did this one. I think I really started to understand how to use charcoal and how I wanted to use it for like my style, I guess. But I really wanted to do a larger portrait, and I think, as you can tell, I've sort of been like slowly scaling up through these. But I think where this medium is really going to shine is on a larger scale. I sketched out this version. I really wanted to do a version of him when he's like had the potion, the black eyes and everything. I think the depth that you can get with charcoal is really cool. Sorry if you can hear vacuuming in the background. I live in a house full of people, and I can't control everyone every day, but this needs to get done. So I'm going to film this as my final piece for the video, film an outro, and call it good after that. I just wasn't happy leaving the video at what it was, so let's get to it. So I started by erasing my sketch. I do this with pretty much every piece that I do. Anything that has a sketch that is going to be a finished piece, I will do the sketch and then just roll over it with my kneaded eraser. I didn't change that for this charcoal piece, and I probably won't, because that's just I feel like the best way for me to do it. And then I went through and started blocking out all of the deepest blacks, the darkest shadows, and working from there light to lighter. I'm used to like watercolor and stuff where you work from lights to dark, so it was really interesting learning how to work from the darks to the lights, and I think that is the way, at least for me, to go about using charcoal. As you can see, I'm going through and just blocking out all of the shadows. Anything that's really dark, I'm really pushing hard on that lead. I started with a harder pencil and then later switched to my Swatches pencil and went through and darkened all of the blacks again. But yeah, you can see I left pretty much this whole half of his face uncolored at all, no shading. I think having the mid-tone paper is a necessity for me, at least when it comes to charcoal. It really helps. I understand why people love it, because you don't have to worry about putting those tones into it. Whereas on white paper, you're tempted to sort of go in and it could get really muddy and really dark really quickly. So having that sort of tan toned paper underneath really helps. And then here you saw me go through and just blend everything out with a tissue. I did not bother like trying to be neat with it. I just pretty much blended it all out to get those mid-tones, and now I'm going back in with that softer lead to really darken everything up and get those really nice blacks that you can get with charcoal. The hair was probably the most tedious part. I spent a lot of time doing the hair. I am not good at drawing hair. It is one of my weak points when it comes to art, and I am actually quite happy with how this hair came out. It's not perfect, and I still have a long way to go and a lot to learn when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I am really quite happy with how this turned out, especially compared to my previous attempts. Especially leaving in those long, straggly, greasy pieces in the front, I think adds just so much to the piece that got lost in the other pieces. Sorry about the lighting here. The sun was starting to set, so shadows kind of got weird, but yeah, so I went through and added in all of those really dark details, and I also went through with my kneaded eraser and actually picked up a lot of smaller spots and smaller highlights, and that's what you can see, all of those nice, sharp, hard lines. And then I signed it. There he is, y'all. There is Geralt of Rivia. Sorry, the sun is kind of bright coming through the window. But yeah, I think, compared to my first attempt, I think I have improved. This was attempt number 1, attempt number 2, attempt number 3, and attempt number 4. I think even between this one and this one, there's a pretty extreme difference that you can see. So, but yeah, I'm very happy with how this came out. I'm thinking I'll probably do prints of this, so if you want a copy or whatever, then they will be up on my shop at some point in the near future, along with prints of past artwork. So if there's anything on my Instagram that you've seen or YouTube or whatever that you would like to have prints of, then just let me know and I'll try to get that set up on the shop. That is sort of my goal for February, March-ish, so you know, we'll do that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like down below. It really helps out. And if you want to stick around and see more of things that I create, whether it be artwork, sewing related, or just general things, crafty makey things, then feel free to subscribe. I try to upload every week, and I would love to have you. We have all kinds of fun on this channel. Also, I'm a small channel. I don't have very many subscribers. I'm pretty hard to find, so it would just be easier for the both of us if you just subscribed and I could just show up in your subscription box every week with a new video, new content made just for you, you know, just to make your life easier. Also, I've never really done this before, but if there's anyone else that you want me to draw or any characters or anything that if you have suggestions, leave them in the comments below and I will try my best to draw them. You know, I tend to draw things that I'm interested in, but it'd be interesting to draw things that you are interested in. Thank you again for watching. I love you. I will see you next week. Don't forget to wash your hands. Goodbye.